Hello!
Hello.
Here we are, Tuesdays with Thriving. The last one of 2018.
That's crazy. I can't believe we're to the end of 2018.
I know.
I don't have enough done for it to be. We're
Really?
just gonna have to let it go. Let it go. Let it go.
Yeah. Oh. Okay, so I'm Brandy, and this is Shannon, and together we're the thriving relationship. Oh my word. Maybe it is time for 18 to be over.
We're all winding down. Winding down.
Yeah. All right. You take the lead for a second. I have to do a little technical difficulty thing.
Okay.
And then I'll be back on the screen. Okay.
All right. So we chose tonight's theme or tonight's topic to be intentional relationshiping. I don't think relationshiping is actually a word, but it is a word today. So we're using relationshiping for our verb because I'm seeing over and over with the clients I work with that there's a lot of time slipping by, and that's what, 2018 went by really fast. There's definitely some things that I thought that I was going to get done in 2018 that I did not get done.
No, really?
I know, it's shocking. It's shocking.
I got everything I planned to get done. Just
Did
kidding.
you? You
No.
made your list January
Yeah,
1?
I didn't make a
and there's
list.
check.
There was no list, so I was like, see, I'm done.
Done. But it's just, here we are. We're to the very end, and
Yes.
and so what I think is happening, here's my theory of the week, because I always have a theory of the week, is that couples will, maybe they intend to work on their relationship, but then they're running and they're doing and they're being, and then a year slips by and they haven't really done anything specifically to work on their relationship. And then all of a sudden 10 years slip by and 20 years. And then they get to come play in our offices when something really big happens. And so it can be very difficult if 20 years has gone by. And the common theme is I really wish we would have been in here 10 years ago. Or I wish we would have been in here 20 years ago. And got some of the patterns to shift then. Or started to spend more time together then.
Right.
Because I don't think we'd be here today. So that got me thinking.
Yeah, it's a common theme.
Yeah.
I mean, the couples that we work with that are longer, they're couples that have been together longer.
Mm-hmm.
That is a really common theme.
And so when we start our workshop and when we start our retreats, one of the things we have couples do is set intentions.
Yeah, actually, we set intentions.
And we set intentions.
Yeah, everything we lead out with groups, we set intentions also.
Mm-hmm. So this time, you get to do it on your own, but we're going to give you homework.
Yeah.
So describe intentions. I'll drink some tea while you
Okay,
describe
all right.
intentions.
So intentions. It really builds on kind of what Shannon has shared already. It's just that when we don't have intentions, time just goes by, right? And we don't really have something guiding, making sure that we're doing these things. Like the easiest way for me to translate it, because dollar signs speak to me, is I can spend my money or I can invest my money. And when I tell my dollars where to go, every paycheck, every week, every month, every year, I accomplish a lot more with my money versus when I just kind of spend it willy-nilly and it's like, ooh, Rice Krispie treats sound good. Ooh, I want a new coat. Ooh, I was kind of a mean mom today. I'll pick up donuts before I get home, right? Like when it's
Donuts
just
with repair.
Yes, carbs, sugar, and they all welcome me. Yeah, so yeah, that's kind of the easiest way for me to translate it is when we kind of have a plan, it will help us. We have something to work towards, right? Like when we have a structure, then we know we're kind of getting out of our structure, right? We made these goals that we want to work towards these things. We want to try to do these things every day,
Right.
or every week, right? Like a really common one we talk about is especially when we have kids in the house. Can we go on a date? Can we go on a date every week? Can we make time? Can we make an intention to have
week?
Yeah, that we set aside a few hours where we don't talk about the kids and we just go out together. So intentions are being purposeful with our time. And in this case, what we're talking about is being purposeful with your time in your relationship.
Yes. So we want you to be able to make intentions for yourselves as individuals, because as we preach sounds, we talk about a lot is that this is really, we've got to make sure that we're working on ourselves, and then that translates to
Yes.
helping the relationship, and then we want to also be focusing on the relationship. So there's the dance back and forth. So I want you to set intentions for yourself as individuals based in the relationship, if that makes sense. So, like, I can look at myself and go, well, you can nitpick once in a while, or maybe more than once in a while. Like, you can get on people. You can be picky as to how things are cleaned or what your expectations. So my intention for 2019 is to really dial down the nitpicking.
Yeah, and so can I just ask you, because this is what I would do with like a couple, just to help us to dig deeper, right? Because this is helpful, I think, for couples. Is like, that's an awesome intention, and I bet there's something deeper to that, right? Because there's something that happens when we nitpick. My experience is I pull away. I disconnect from the people I love with when I'm nitpicking. So I bet there's a deeper intention even beyond why I want to kind of monitor my nitpicking.
Yeah, so for me, I think it's really good to, let other people have control once in a while.
Yeah, right.
Maybe just once in a while, though. But then the obvious, it's going to form a wall or a wedge in relationship if you're constantly picking.
Yeah, we've talked about this in other videos, I think, other lives, and even we talked about this for sure in the workshop, which is connected to just the nitpicking idea, right? Like, we have the ability to walk in the house and we can look for things that are right, or we can look for things that are wrong.
Right.
And that will set the mood.
So, much more positive attitude. And then, so... Do you want to go through an intention for 2019 for you?
I set this intention,
and then I'll pick on you and we'll go deeper.
Yeah. Okay. So, an intention that I'm just working on, thanks to my darling best friend Shannon. She's brought it right to the surface in the last little bit, and
which one?
You can see why I love her, right? Okay. Is to give myself the space to say out loud the feelings I'm feeling. So some people know that I sometimes I want the picture perfect appearance, and that's a real unhealthy coping mechanism for me, is to just like, everything's fine, everything's great, oh, I got it, it's all covered, and everybody's fine, fine.
Your favorite word.
Yep.
Fine.
Yep.
Fine.
So my biggest intention that I'm taking into 2019 is that I set aside time while I get ready in the morning to just talk to myself. I talk to myself in the mirror and I say, yep, Brandy, it's okay. Like, I feel angry about da-da-da-da-da. I feel angry that I didn't get enough sleep last night. I feel angry that the dog woke me up at 4 o'clock in the morning. And I feel hurt that I didn't get to be included in a girl's lunch, or, right, like, I just give myself the space, because it's really validating for me to know that, like, I can have those feelings and I get it out.
Because just say it out loud.
Because I can tell when I haven't been, and my headaches start to come back.
Right.
So that is my intention, is that I give myself space, hopefully daily. If not, once the headache kicks in, I'm like, oh, I'm doing it again. I guess it's time to talk to myself.
And that's going to benefit your relationship.
Oh, absolutely. So that will benefit my relationship, because one, it helps me to let go of the resentments that kind of boil under the surface, that sometimes I don't even know that they're there. Like,
and sometimes they probably get to explode.
Then if I can take care of them there, then they don't have to explode so great later. And so it kind of helps clear my slate, if that makes sense. So when I get up and I do that each day, it clears off that emotional yuck that I like to let hang around in my process of trying to make everything perfect. And then I create opportunity that, like, allows me to connect with the people I love, because I'm not subconsciously holding on to this, like, oh my gosh, I hate that you spilled tomato juice on my carpet, or whatever.
Only a couple things.
You always have to hug me with a chocolate milk mustache on my black shirt right before I walk out to work.
Right.
Those type of things that are silly, but, like, kind of I hold on to. And so it's just this place I get to vent it, and then it goes.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. So, challenge to you is to really, insight into self, figure out what you think you really need to work on as an individual that will ultimately help the relationship you have with your person or really anyone,
Yeah.
kids, coworkers. And then setting intentions for your relationship as a whole.
Mhm.
And that's where it could be date nights. It could be device-free evenings. It could be, help me out.
Hot steamy sex once a week,
There
twice
you
a
go.
week. If it were up to my husband, he'd say like a few times a day.
Every day. Then you've got vacations
Yeah.
without kids, vacations with kids, whatever that
Right.
looks
What
like.
is it that's missing? What were the things that, you were dreaming about maybe when you first met, or you see something on Facebook and you feel maybe a pang of jealousy,
Yeah.
or just what are those things that maybe kind of got put on the back burner in the process of not being really purposeful about what we want in and not in our
Mhm.
lives, right? Sometimes our intentions have to do with boundaries.
Yeah.
Placing boundaries and kind of keeping certain people or spaces or things like that just out of our lives. That's something to consider as a
Mhm.
couple.
For sure, for sure. So really, it's wide open. It's whatever
So
you
open.
need. But I would say them and write them.
Yeah.
There's power in both. Actually having something to reference back to.
Yep.
In July, how are we doing? Are we actually making this a priority?
Uh-huh.
If you feel like your relationship needs a little more adventure, play, passion, go one way. If you need a little bit more security, consistency, your intentions can go the other way. So
Yeah.
figure out what you need as a couple.
Yeah, and this is a fun conversation to have. I mean, it really
Mhm.
can be. It can feel a little nerve-wracking maybe because maybe like it could be hard to, like, I could see this at different points in Brandon and I's marriage to maybe talk about intentions might feel like, oh, you mean I'm lacking? Oh, you mean I'm not doing something, right?
That's a
And
good
so
point.
remember to kind of come with it with the intention and that we want to create something better, right? Like we both want to feel better connected. And so it's not about like being upset or angry or resentful over that this hasn't happened. It's that
What do we want
we-
to do in 2019?
we always
What do
have the opportunity to do
Yep.
something different. And so let's take advantage of that opportunity.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Gosh, we're so cool.
You can share if you want. Wouldn't it
Yeah.
be fun if people shared intentions? I
Yeah.
don't know if they will.
Yeah. So, yeah. Share intentions if you feel
If
so.
you feel up to
in the
it.
thread, maybe your individual intentions. Sometimes what we find is when we talk about the couple, that feels more sacred, more like we can't talk about that out in a public forum.
Mhm.
If you feel compelled to, maybe share your individual intentions or whatever you feel comfortable in this thread. If you feel inspired by what you're watching here, I highly urge you to share our video. Share it with the people that you love, because this is a practice that is, it's free. It's really easy to do, and it doesn't take a whole lot of time, right?
Right.
I think of it as when I set an intention, I think of it the same way as when I buy a new car. I never buy new cars. When I buy a
I was gonna
used
say,
car,
when is this happening?
never, ever. When I buy a used car, it suddenly is amazing to me how many of that same freaking car is all over the road that I never noticed before, right?
Mhm.
Like, my husband this year, we're still in this year, bought an FJ Cruiser. I know all you people out there that just love these FJs. I didn't even realize they were anywhere. They're everywhere, and they're like a club, and they all wave at each other when you drive by.
Aw.
But I didn't realize this was there until we had one, and then I became very aware of FJs.
Mhm.
This is the same type of awareness we build in when we set intentions, is all of a sudden we start to recognize, like, oh, we're getting away from that. Why am I feeling so cranky? It's like, oh, I'm not setting time to vent my anger, to vent my hurt, to vent my emotions, right? Like,
Mhm.
you gain that awareness, and that awareness piece is what helps us, like, take this further and make it more meaningful and create more connection.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So as we wrap up 2018, because the next 2 Tuesdays are holidays,
Christmas, New Year's.
so we will invite you to join us in February 15th and 16th here in Idaho Falls. We're doing the first retreat for 2019.
Mhm.
So sign-ups are happening right now on the website for that. The workshop's always available. Workshop is the format that you're seeing here, which is a specific topic. It will end up in your inbox when you need it for 12 different topics, right? 12
Yep.
different weeks. And exercises to go with them. So we're just helping couples to be able to do this on their own in their own home, but have some framework to be able to go a little bit deeper with it.
Yeah, so that's an option to play with this in person in February,
Yes.
to be able to do this in the total convenience of your own home
Mhm.
anytime, okay? Anytime. You just hop on the website and register and purchase, and then we start emailing it to you. And we do have some fun activities coming in the rest of the year. We're working on the details for a Sun Valley, Idaho retreat. And so for any of you who've been there, you know how beautiful that is. If you haven't, trust me, it's beautiful. If you think like Idaho, what's in Idaho? Sun Valley is in Idaho. And people come from all over the world to see Sun Valley in Idaho.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. So, our website, thethriving.relationship.com. Come visit us there. If you see us on Facebook, you're probably aware of our community already. Share us with your friends if you think there's anything on here that might be meaningful to the ones you love. All right. Have
Happy
a wonderful,
holidays.
wonderful holidays ahead, and we can't wait to start interacting with you guys in 2019.
2019.
Okay. See ya. I don't really know.